Oh, I hit it directly right on?
You hit the tripod directly right on again.
And I suppose y'all are wondering why I started off the video with such an unusual cutting form, or a little kata style there of cutting left to right, or right to left. Because that is the way that Adrian Paul at the Sword Experience showed a small kata or form to people who had never picked up a sword before. Some of them had were quite skilled actually, and they loved the experience. But that was a method to teach them supinated and pronated moves with the arm or wrist from one arm to the next. Believe it or not, he introduces people to swordsmanship. It has been for years, even since the program, because people used to watch Highlander. I'm sure many of y'all may have out there.
Dracula won that one, didn't he?
I promised this video for a while, the review of the Corpus Christi RealmsCon Sword Experience. Originally, I was just going to be doing a review and be one of the participants. I ended up being a lot more interactive than that.
Step back again. There, right? And now comes back with me here. What? There. And I'm stepping back to here. Push. Off. Now here. Step.
We had approximately a little over 3 hours to train people who some of them had never picked a sword up before to do the fight scene from Dracula Untold. And the fight scene is very entertaining, very cool. There are some spins in it that a lot of the people want to say that they're snobbish to their style of martial arts. A lot of people might say, you know, oh, you would not spin, and the spins are ridiculous, the back cuts and stuff you get hit in the back. But this is a fantasy fight scene from Dracula Untold, and I'm pretty sure Dracula can do whatever he wants if he moves fast enough. And he wouldn't have a chance to do anything and possibly parry it if you were mere normal. So when you do something like that, you have to realize that you're in for the fun, you're in for the experience, and to do something different. As a matter of fact, Adrian Paul and I met the day before the actual event to rehearse the scene. And we even made comments about, well, he says they're just actors, when we were saying, well, they didn't have a lot of footwork at the beginning of the fight scene. They didn't. They kind of stayed in one spot and moved really fast and spun in one place. But who knows? Maybe realistically, if you were standing on all those coins on the floor, you'd be afraid of falling down. So maybe they were trying to keep their footing. He talks about the lack of footwork in the scene as well, and the unrealistic part of the spinning. But you know, it's Dracula, so what do you expect? Adrian Paul actually worked and trained with Bob Anderson. A lot of you might recognize his fight choreography. He was a famous fencer from back in the day, but he did The Princess Bride, Lord of the Rings, and Highlander, of course. So he's an accomplished choreographer. A lot of the stuff you saw later on in the Highlander series, where you see a lot more realistic martial arts moves, come from Adrian himself. Not only was he a kickboxer and trained in other martial arts, as well as Kung Fu, with Sifu Vernon Rita. I think he's done quite a few movies as well, helped choreography in them. Like in Endgame, Highlander Endgame, he was in that one with him, and the series. So Adrian's done a lot of training in martial arts, so therefore he is a true accomplished martial artist as well as a choreographer with famous choreographers. So that's one of the bonuses, I think, to actually training with Adrian. You see all the different influence from HEMA and Asian martial arts throughout his work, and realism. We changed up some of the footwork to make it more viable as a fight than it would have been in the actual movie, I believe. My opinion, it was much, even though some of it's fantasy, you know, like some of the spins and stuff, he still changed it up with his own style, and you can see that. So when you watch a movie, you will have a whole new insight afterwards, or watch the whole series. You will recognize the choreography going back to Bob Anderson and some of Rita's stuff, I swear. I mean, that makes it very entertaining when you go back and watch the old movies. All the way even to the Highlander series, even though Adrian wasn't in that, you will see the same type of choreography you get to do with Adrian and what he teaches. Plus some really good sound principles that work in all swordsmanship. would have to highly recommend the sword experience. I think that if you go way beyond basics, you're going to sit here and go, well, it's basics. But if you want to experience what it's like to be that character that inspired you, and maybe get to meet him if he's the one, Adrian Paul, I think it's a great thing. It's something that you'll remember forever. And me being the sword partner, I was almost jealous at the end when I got to see everybody out there with the flashing lights on the police cars. They had a RoboCop car there because it's a convention, and he had the lights flashing off and on, and then it's dark in the afternoon and the storm was rolling in, and he got vampires. That was one of the things we talked about the day before, and I was wondering if he was really going to pull that off. He got people who looked like vampires to play Dracula in different ones, because the way he envisioned the scene, it's not exactly like the movie. It's kind of like the fight outside the encampment instead of in the tent. A lot of fun. I truly enjoyed it. Like I said, I highly recommend it. And I did find it quite interesting that the way he uses the sword for the fight choreography, if you saw me do the little kata at the beginning, back and forth cutting, is to use the blade and accelerate the blade. And I've always talked about that. Most people who cut with katana, if I was to cut this like I cut earlier, which of course this stand moves and gives a lot, so if it looks like it scooped that hair, it kind of did, but it's because the whole target was moving like this as I was cutting through. And from right to left, you get a little more speed and power from left to right. The way I did that, it's a little less, so due to the speed of the blade, you still got a clean cut. And that was from his technique of how he showed them to cut, so you can also have control and possibly not hit the other person just outright if he doesn't parry very well, but still look like you're going to go for the target, and you see the acceleration of the blade. But like I highly preach that, the cast blow, and he's totally right that that will work as a legitimate cutting technique. There are others and different methods of cutting, but works really well for the sword experience. I'd also like to bring this up because I didn't get a chance to. I made these hachimaki, or bandanas. Wow, we just had a stick flying. There's a lot of wind today. I hope you can hear me. But I made these hachimakis for everybody. I made white and red. And they have the Sword Experience logo and my logo on them. So if you were lucky enough to get one, they were commemorative one-time only items. I plan on sending one to Shan and my graphics artist, Brad Lynn. So hopefully they'll be getting one of these real soon. I only had a few left. And thank you to everybody who made it a great experience. And I'd like to thank Shan O'Connor. She has the SXP, the Ultimate Sword Experience. And I gained a lot of information about what I was going to be participating in. A lot of information about Adrian Paul, his charity. And if y'all want to join her group on Facebook, go right ahead. Even if you're an avid HEMA practitioner, you're into the Budo arts, you're into what have you, you'll notice that although they'll post some fantasy swords that might have helped inspire them, I've seen everything on there from like Thundercats, talking about the sword from Thundercats and then showing the Men-at-Arms who made a reproduction of it, to historical information on either Japanese swords or European weapons. I even saw like Kopesh on there the other day, and I even threw one of my videos up and they appreciated it. They're talking about the Canaanite style Kopesh. So there are people from all walks of life. Shan O'Connor, like I said, a good shout out to her and thank you. She actually is getting into HEMA. And that's what Adrian Paul likes to do. He likes to get a sword instructor from the local area, but he uses HEMA instructors from HEMA schools, so that way you can continue your training in swords if that's the first time you've ever done it and you just get addicted. Because of course you love swords, you're going to be there for that reason. Or you may even meet some local instructor in your area you didn't know about that you can train with, or a group you can actually cross over with and train with if you're already in a group. Also, he sometimes gets Budo or Kenjutsu, Kendo style schools. It just depends what he has available in the area. Interesting fact, at conversation, one of his favorite swords is the Scottish basketball sword, the actual broadsword or backsword of basketball. I found that entertaining, that style of claymore. But anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed the video and seen some of the scenery from there. And talking about it, I guess maybe way too much, but I can't over recommend it. It's a lot of fun if you can afford it. It's in your area and you can make it there. Even if you can't make it there easily, but you want to take it as a vacation, a lot of people do that, go right ahead. But I plan on coming up with a lot more videos. I'm sorry, my left arm got injured at fighter practice a week after the event. And it hurt so bad I couldn't sit in front of a computer. I threw it out, some kind of a throwing injury while I was trying to fight with two swords, and I guess I overextended my reach. I was fighting a friend of mine, David, and he's a very excellent fighter. So I either did some kind of thrust out or cut out. I don't know exactly when it took place. I know that I missed a couple of times, and I think that's when I threw it out. Afterwards, I noticed it a day or so later. I was in so much pain. It was so bad I could barely do anything, really. I couldn't even sit in front of the computer and type. So I apologize. I should have a lot more videos out. Very soon, I have a Akashi Sword. It's a sword from India that's very much like a cross between a two-handed blade and a naginata. I plan on testing that really, really soon. It's very awesome. I'll be showing an opening video soon with some of the, or just a video, maybe all the new swords in it that I just received. I even have a sword from Witcher 3, or design similar to it. It's more of a historical version of the sword from Witcher 3, the Scottish sword, I believe it's the Erudite Sword. Very beautiful sword. I can't wait to test that out. I also have a naginata from the same guy, Rob from Dragon Song Forge, that gifted me with this katana over a year ago. He gave me a very nice naginata this year. So can't wait to do that. We're going to come back with a Patreon special, and it's going to be the Japanese armor from Iron Mountain Armor, the Tosei Gusoku, and it's going to be a video covering all armor-piercing weapons from the same eras that we already did, all the way up, and armor-breaking weapons. So anything that can damage armor that wasn't as common, probably not used as commonly due to the drawbacks because of it, and we'll bring all those up, will be on Patreon only, probably for $3 or more, and it will show the excessive damage past the point where possibly the samurai would survive directly beyond. Possible. We'll see. We're going to try that out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and as always, farewell.